most businesses think that they have a traffic or leads problem, but here's something we've uncovered in our 90-day sprint process year in and year out with clients, and that is in the first 90 days, we almost always uncover a problem with their positioning. Now, why does that matter? Well, the number one thing you must understand is when you're marketing your business online or offline, the vast majority of you are making this one big mistake, and I want to help you correct it today. And that is you're speaking to the wrong buyer at the wrong time. So in this episode, what I want to share with you is the way we think about positioning in the scheme of marketing, sales, and acquisition. Now, why is this really important, right? So if you're an entrepreneur, CEO, founder, you're doing 6, 7, 8 figures, whatever it might be, what we hear often in our agency is that owners complain that they're investing in marketing, but they're not seeing the results. And underneath it is a simple mistake that could have been avoided at the very beginning. And in many cases, when we're working with a company that has been doing marketing for 5, 6, 8, 10, 12 years, and we find this one issue related to positioning, like magic, things start to turn around. Now, before we get into this, I'm not making promises that that's going to happen exactly for your business on the other side of this video. But what I'd like to help you understand is the shift that you might need to make, the way one of the CEOs that I was speaking to recently had to make. And once that shift is made, you will literally unlock the keys to the kingdom, to getting more traffic, getting more leads, and getting more sales in your pipeline that actually convert relatively fast. So why does all of this matter in the first place? Well, the one thing we must continue to remind ourselves about is that in this digital era where we're all on mobile devices, we're all using social media, we're all going to Google, we're all going to Bing, we're all talking to our friends and family, the one thing that stands true that we constantly have to remind people of to shift their mind about is that the days gone by of a prospect needing to come to you to get all the information about your product or service, those days are gone. And the minute you accept the fact that your buyer is going on a path of discovery with or without you, and in most cases today without you, and let's not forget how AI is playing into the ability of a buyer to make a decision way before they get to you, which I'm going to talk about in just a moment. We just must understand that they're going to go on a journey much deeper into the sales funnel without needing you. But when it comes to positioning your marketing, you cannot just show up to a perfect stranger in your marketing, whether that's Google ads or Facebook ads or an email or cold outreach email, or even at a trade show or conference, and expect that everyone you meet, even if they're the right person, even if they have the right problem, even if they have the right budget, is a prospect for your business today. And this is not just an exercise in positioning. I say that it's always an exercise in patience, because the one thing you can't control, even when you have the right buyer in front of you, is their specific timing of when they want to solve the problem. The highest performing businesses that we work with at our agency realize that not all leads are created equal. And in that regard, it lets them understand how to build layers of messaging that will position their business for where the prospect is today, or where the prospect is when they enter their world. You know, a lot of common marketing jargon is using the words like sales funnels and, landing pages and conversion sequences and conversion mechanisms. And, those are the technical things you can call them. But listen, let's remember that we are selling our product or service to a human who has a problem, who'd like to solve it. And the only question is you don't know when. So all leads are not created equal. Google has a study that says that today, prospects need 11 touch points over 7 hours of interaction with your business on 4 different platforms. Now, I don't know if that's for every business, but what Google is saying, based on their data, and they have plenty, is that it's taking longer for a prospect to journey through the buying process. And then if you're only showing up on SEO, or you're only showing up on Facebook, or you're only showing up on Instagram, or you're only showing up in the networking environment at your Chamber of Commerce, you just might not be present enough. So how does positioning work? when you're trying to capture people's attention and they may not always be ready to buy. I'm going to fall back on the 5 levels of awareness. And I said this just recently to a CEO, and we broke it down because this was their complaint. Hey, we've been running ads to this specific part of our website, to this specific part of our sales process, to this specific part of our offer, and we are just not getting sales. And so much, they said, that we have been told that it's going to take 2 and 3 years for some of these prospects to convert. And I sat back and I said, that's actually not true. Like, where did you come up with that? And it's like somehow they got this information. And I said, what if you would consider the possibility that you're making the right offer at the wrong time, right? If I'm walking out of a steak restaurant, having just eaten an amazing steak dinner, and you walk up to me and hand me a $300 coupon or a gift certificate to walk into the steak restaurant down the street, my answer is no. It doesn't mean the steak isn't good. It doesn't mean your restaurant isn't good, but I just ate. In marketing, we have to understand where our buyer's coming from and make sure we're positioning ourselves accordingly. So the question would be, what are these positions? Number one, the first position is when the buyer is in problem awareness stage, step 1. If they're in problem awareness stage, this person just acknowledges that they have a problem they'd like to solve. So you have to make sure you have messaging that meets them at the problem awareness stage. Now, here's where a lot of you get stuck, and that is you don't want to create a message for every problem. You want to acknowledge that they might have 5 or 6 or 7 problems, but you want to give them one solution for all of those problems. And in some cases, you need a specific solution or a micro solution for every single one of those problems. Step 2 area of positioning is when the person is in the consideration phase, the consideration stage. They've gone from, I know that I've got a problem, to the point that I have a problem that I actually want to solve. That is a psychological change in how your buyer is moving through the journey. So when they decide they want to solve it, they are now going to start doing certain things, talking to certain people, visiting certain websites, visiting certain social media profiles, starting to do different things. They're going to behaviorally do something different. And you've got to have a different level of marketing and positioning and words at that level called consideration. Step 3, which is where a lot of you want to hang out, is when they are almost ready to buy. We call it the purchase decision stage or the purchase aware stage. This means that they are now having considered all of the possibilities, and now they're about to make a decision. And the problem is that we see that most of you just need to fix. If you could just fix this, I guarantee your marketing is going to change, your sales are going to change, your lead gen is going to change, your sales team is going to love you. And that is, everyone is not ready to make a decision. And if you just move your marketing from purchase aware and move it up to those higher stages, you're going to see things change dramatically. Let me give this example, and I've got to give credit where credit is due. I heard this, I've said it for years as vitamin painkiller, but I'm not going to bore you with that because I think Daniel Priestley said it the best. I was listening to one of his videos and he said, how many of you are ready to sign up for a CrossFit gym today? And he was in a room of a couple hundred people. Maybe 3 or 4 people raised their hand. Then he said, how many of you in the room are not happy with your weight? And about 90% of the room raised their hand. Well, that's the distinction between people that are purchase aware and people that are problem aware. Purchase aware people said, yeah, I might be interested in signing up in CrossFit today. Well, CrossFit is a micro niche inside of the weight loss and fitness industry. But 90% of the room said, yeah, I probably could do something with my weight. That's a problem aware differential. So in your lead gen, in your sales, in your pipeline building, you have to go into the problem aware stage to get more and more people to take a step into your world and not just keep trying to get people to sign up for CrossFit. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So how do we fix this in your marketing starting right now? You don't have to come into our 90-day sprint. You don't have to come into our inner circle. How do you fix it right now? I'm going to challenge you right now, whether it's with ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or your team, which by the way, don't discount your team. Also, talk to your salespeople. And that is to take a 30-day time period and really sit down and list out and talk to your buyers about all of the various problems they had before they bought your product or service. Now, if you're just getting started, which I doubt, you're gonna be able to use ChatGPT, you're gonna be able to use Claude or Gemini, but you're gonna wanna get clear on the top frustrations, problems, fears, worries, doubts, concerns, and so forth, right? Don't just get so caught in selling them the dream. Don't get so caught up in selling them the goal. Don't get so caught up in selling them the vision. Meet them at their point of pain. But if you are not clear about their points of pain, their points of fear, their point of frustration, such as I'm not happy with my weight, and you're just constantly trying to sell them CrossFit, you're going to continue to be stressed out in your marketing. So when you do this and you've got all of those pains, frustration, fears, worries, doubts, concerns, all of that, those are going to lead to questions that are likely being asked in your sales process. So go back to your sales team and ask them to give you all the questions that are coming up, all of the objections that are coming up in the sales process. And here's the easiest step you can do walking away from this video, is start creating a piece of content that addresses every one of those questions. Every single one of those questions is the seed of a lead generation campaign that you're sitting on. In our agency, when we work in the 90-day sprint process with our clients, most of the time in the first 30 days, we spend time unpacking all of the frequently asked questions that their customers have en route to buying the product or service, and we then turn each one of those answers into a piece of content to put into our visibility and lead gen campaigns, and all of a sudden, like clockwork, boom, 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 people start converting. Now, I'm not calling that magical for you because I don't know what your business is. I don't know how far you are in the journey. I don't know what you're investing in marketing, but that's what we do inside of our agency. And that's what we teach our clients inside of our inner circle on how to unpack what's really going on in their buyer's mind so they can get their business positioned properly for the right stage of the buyer's journey. So listen, very quick tip on positioning and the mistake that a lot of you are making. I hope you got a little piece of insight from this. If you're interested in getting more information about how we think about the journey from someone who's a perfect stranger to becoming a customer for the clients that we work with and having helped them do it now for 14 years to the tune of over $300 million, there's some links down below and you can choose the journey that makes sense. If not, I'll see you on another video real soon. Take care.